Call of Duty Vanguard's multiplayer beta gave us a smattering of maps to enjoy ahead of its November 5th release, and the outlook is promising. Final code is really not too far away now, but with early access, we're given a fresh look at how Vanguard's visual and technical direction is shaping up. Developer Sledgehammer Games is at the helm for both its campaign and multiplayer, returning the series to a classic World War II setting. But fundamentally, we're looking at the Modern Warfare IW8 engine at its core, with all the benefits in materials, lighting, and physics it brings, and so there's a few questions to ask. With the beta served as a native Xbox Series X, S, and PlayStation 5 app, just what are the next-gen features on show? Does multiplayer action hold at 60 FPS in regular play? And how does the 120Hz mode, which is available on all three consoles, perform overall? Let's find out. Okay, so the Vanguard beta, what's included? What's new? Well, we're promised around 20 multiplayer maps at launch, but here we're given just the 4 to test. We globetrot from a snowed-over Stalingrad Plaza to a luxurious Parisian hotel, a mountaintop reception house, and then finally, a Pacific military base. There's good variety here, and each is almost certainly an adapted slice of the campaign, still to be seen in full. Beyond that, well, there's a handy new filter called Combat Pacing as you start matchmaking. Sledgehammer lets you now adjust how player-saturated each map can be, and so for anyone after a high-tempo game, just push that up to the Blitz mode and you'll soon fill a level out with its 48-player maximum. Hitting the full 48 is handy, especially for a technical stress test, as we'll get to. That's the setup, but what of the next-gen features? What do you get from the game on PS5 or Xbox Series consoles that wasn't possible before? There are several benefits. The native resolution and frame rate are of course boosted over PS4 and Xbox One releases. For the multiplayer beta, 60 FPS is easily best held on next-gen platforms, as we'll get to later. In terms of raw features though, PS5, Xbox Series X and S all have an additional 120Hz mode for supporting displays. Just as with Cold War or Warzone, you have a toggle to enable 120Hz right in the menus that enables smoother gameplay, albeit at a resolution hit. Otherwise, the Ray Trace Shadow option of Cold War doesn't make a similar showing in Vanguard, at least not for this beta. And certainly playing the game, the reflections have all the signs of a screen space method. Another extra for next-gen consoles is here in the menus, on-demand texture streaming. This promises high-grade texture assets on PS5 and Series X, downloaded as you play to boost points of detail across the map. How far-reaching its effects are isn't exactly clear, but on top of the resolution boost and smoother 60 FPS update, it stands to improve select points in the map. So to see the generational leap in example, we have the last-gen PS4 Pro version on left against PS5 on right. Right away on the Eagle's Nest map, there's a visible difference in overall image clarity, a resolution boost. Now, pixel testing this IW8 engine is a notoriously difficult task, but select samples show the target resolutions on each. PS4 Pro renders at a target of around 1536p, with temporal reconstruction and DRS to help it hit that resolution. PS5 meanwhile targets the full 3840 by 2160, but seemingly adjusts its horizontal resolution down to 1920 by 2160 lowest. Overall, PS5 generates a much clearer image as a result. Keeping to the comparisons against Pro, what of the finer details? Looking ahead, plant density from this spawn point are boosted on PS5 as well. There's a fuller, richer patch of foliage in front that never quite fills in on the PS4 Pro edition, no matter how close we move towards it, which does suggest a fixed high level of detail for PS5. A close-up of the floor below meanwhile doesn't really show much of a difference in texture quality or shadow resolution, and likewise, changing to the Gavutu map for a second, screen space reflection quality appears to be close between the two. So at least based on a cursory look, textures, shadows, and effects quality aren't vastly different based on this brief sample, but clearly there are benefits in draw distance and foliage detail density for PS5. And if we switch to an Xbox Series X versus PS5 comparison, both share the spoils in visual features. Series X is identical to PS5 in its boosted foliage settings, and as we fly by each map, native resolutions are matched between them too, at a dynamic 4K that adjusts on the horizontal axis down to 1920 by 2160 where needs be, with temporal reconstruction. And to switch to Series S, we see a similar use of reconstruction and DRS, though in this case running with a target of 1080p, dropping to 960 by 1080 lowest.
New intel, ready for report.
So, as is tradition at this point, let's jump to the frame rate testing now. But before we show the new consoles, let's see what we're coming from. The PS4 Pro version here, for example, targets 60 FPS as you'd expect, but right now the beta has some issues hitting that constantly. Be it maps like Gavutu or Hotel Royale, drops into the 50s are on show in the beta build, especially by the end of the game, where performance seems to drop more so. It appears frame rate degrades for PS4 Pro as physics interactions stack up in dense environments like the hotel lobby, and as bullet decals line its walls. The build-up of destruction is a huge highlight of Vanguard's multiplayer maps. Physics interplay has an impact, where maps like the hotel look unrecognisable by the end of a match. Walls shatter, doors blow apart, even glass ceilings smash through. But yes, PS4 Pro pays a price in performance, especially with 48 players running amok on the max combat pacing setting. But for the PS5 version, well, at least in its 60 FPS mode, it's problem solved as you can see. The very blunt summary for Vanguard's performance on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and even S for that matter, is this. It runs at 60 FPS 99% of the time. There are one-off frame drops, single dips, but nothing that truly registers as an issue in play. PS5 acquits itself well here, and it shows the adaptability of the renderer built by Infinity Ward. To push a 4K image that adjusts, scales so seamlessly based on load, and keeps 60 FPS in target is an impressive feat given the variability of effects, physics, and the high player counts. So it goes on Xbox Series X as well, no matter which of the four maps I tested. Again, there are one-frame hitches, but these could easily be put down to network latency. Being a beta, hopefully much of this can be cleared up, but for a beta build, Vanguard is in a pretty decent place. Lastly, there's the Series S, which, owing to the lower target resolution, seems to push through at a robust 60 FPS as well. Even on the bigger Red Star map, it doesn't have much of an issue. A simple state of affairs for the 60 FPS mode then, but what of 120Hz? All three machines support 120Hz, though with resolutions dropping on PS5 and Series X. For 120 FPS mode, Vanguard shifts to around 1536p as a max target, though again with resolution scaling on the horizontal axis to suit performance. In action, it pays off well too. PS5 runs the Eagle's Nest map at a smooth 120 FPS, no problem. Smaller stages with fewer players inevitably fare best, and so it goes on the Hotel Royale stage, though we have a few drops to 90 FPS here once physics affected areas are in view. Overall, these two run well enough at 120 a majority of the time. That being said, PS5 performance at its worst can be found on the bigger two maps of the rotation, Red Star and also the Gavutu map with max 48 players, especially towards the tail end of the game, tanks performance down to the 80 FPS line. At this point, the drops do start to notice on 120 FPS displays. Now, Xbox Series X comes out with similar results. Play is variable and an exact comparison to PS5 isn't really possible, but we can say Xbox systems are set up differently insofar as they use adaptive screen tearing. Tearing appears right at the top of the screen while under load, but at 120 FPS it's a real challenge to pick out by eye. For Xbox, the frame rate readings when stress testing the game with max players falls into a similar territory as PS5, down to the 80 FPS line with continuous stretches languishing between 100 and 120. The advantage for Xbox, of course, is VRR is a feature we can tap into to keep movement perceptually smooth despite the rises and falls in frame rate. Between the two, this does give Xbox an advantage for this mode as it stands, but there may be more tweaks to come by the final release. Switching to Series S for a moment, perhaps inevitably, this machine struggles the most of the three for 120fps playback. As far as resolutions go, signs still point to a 1080p target here, though it's clear resolution drops on that horizontal axis are more constantly in effect. And the result? Well, typically it runs fine at 120 on smaller levels, lower player counts, but when stress tested, drops below even 80fps are possible. Again, VRR will help here, but the drops will stand out ever more so for Series S regardless. It's impressive the feature makes the grade for a much less powerful machine, but that's where performance stands ahead of the full release. A quick look at the state of Vanguard then. The final game will blow the doors open on many more maps and the full campaign mode to boot, all on November 5th. But right now, the 4 maps on offer here give us a good sense of how Sledgehammer's design ethos is taking form. Destruction physics appear to be a bigger focus in Vanguard, at least based on the evidence of the Hotel Royale and Eagle's Nest maps, which end in absolute ruinous states. Impressively, 60fps performance holds up handsomely for PS5 and Xbox Series machines regardless, a big improvement on last gen. The 120fps modes though, well, it gives all consoles a much sterner workout, but possibly we could see optimizations help matters there. But that's all from me for now until Vanguard arrives in its full form. If you did find this quick look useful or insightful in any way, feel free to like or subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to get notifications as any new video lands. To get a high quality version of this video, check out our Patreon at digitalfoundry.net, and to get in touch with myself or the rest of the team, just use Twitter. But from me for now, thanks for watching.